कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. So today on the occasion of Sri Nityananda Trayodashi, we will be having a special shloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 25, text number 8. य एष एवं अनुश्रुतो ध्यायमानो मुमुक्षुनाम् अनादिकाल कर्म वासना ग्रथितम् अविद्यामयं हृदय ग्रंथिं सत्वरजस्तमोमयम् अंतर्हृदयं गत आशु निर्भिन्नति तस्यानुभावान् Bhagavan Swayambhuvo Narada Sahatamburuna Sabhayam Brahmana Samshlokayam Asa. So reading the translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation: if persons who are very serious about being liberated from material life hear the glories of Anantadeva from the mouth of a spiritual master in the chain of disciplic succession, and if they always waited upon Lord Sankarshana, the Lord enters the course of their heart, vanquishes all the dirty contamination of the material modes of nature, and cuts to pieces the hard knot within the heart, which has been tied tightly since time immemorial by the desire to dominate material nature through futile activities. Narad Muni, the son of Lord Brahma, always glorifies Anantadeva in his father's assembly. There he sings blissful verses of his own composition, accompanied by his strange instrument or celestial singer known as Tumburu. So here, it's okay. Purport: none of this description of Lord Anantadeva are imaginary. They are all transcendently blissful and full of actual knowledge. However, unless one hears them directly from a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession, one cannot understand them. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitascha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome all of you for today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today is the most merciful day, a day of Shri Nityananda, Lord Nityananda's appearance. This day is a special day among all the festival days because this day is a day of hope. Why it is day of hope? The reason is that because scriptures repeatedly declares that without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, there is no possibility of getting the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, since we are discussing this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, this verse indicates the glories of Lord Anantadeva. And Lord Nityananda is non-different from Lord Anantadeva. So that's why I thought of taking this verse 5.28.8. I will again read the translation. If persons who are very serious about being liberated from material life hear the glories of Lord Anantadev from the mouth of spiritual master in the chain of disciplic succession, And if they always meditate upon Lord Sankarshana, the Lord enters the cores of their heart and vanquishes all the dirty contamination of the material modes of nature and cuts to pieces the hard knot within the heart, which has been tied tightly since time immemorial by the desires to dominate material nature through fruit activities. So here, Shukdev Goswami is instructing that if we are very serious about gaining the perfection of life, it is most important that one should overcome all material desire. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Antavanta phalam, nahi, sorry, that one should be always free, one should be completely devoid of all sinful reaction. Unless and until one is devoid of all sinful reaction, he will not be able to practice bhakti sincerely. So, without the overcoming material desires within the heart, there is no question of practicing bhakti seriously. So that's why Tesham tu antagata papam janana punya karmana te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajate mam dridhavrata. Krishna says in Gita that unless and until one has overcome all the desire of sinful propensities, bhajate mam dridhavrata. Dridhavrata means with determination. One cannot possibly practice bhakti with determination. One may do some spiritual activities, but the determined practice of bhakti is not possible unless one overcomes all material desires. But we know and we understand that it is not so easy to overcome all the material desires. So what is the solution? So Srimad Bhagavatam gives a solution. Bhagavatam, Shukdev Goswami says, one should take up to the worship of Lord Ananta Deva, and one should hear his glories about his pastimes, so that one can overcome the internal sinful desires of material enjoyment. So that's how Lord Nityananda comes into picture. Because in Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a wonderful statement. Chaitanya Bhagavata Adi Khanda, it is said, Dvija Vipra Brahmana Yehena Nama Bheda Eimata Nityananda Ananta Baladeva. Translation says, just as Dvija, Vipra and Brahmana are different names of the same person, Nityananda, Ananta and Baladev are similarly different names of the same Lord. What does it mean? It means that Lord Balram, Lord Ananta and Lord Nityananda are one and the same. There is no difference between them at all. So, why we have to read and hear about the glories of Lord Nityananda is described here, because it is for one's own spiritual advancement and spiritual benefit. But that is the external aspect of worshipping Lord Nityananda. What is the real aspect especially for those who are in the parampara of Gaudiya Vaishnavism? The reason is that one should worship Lord Nityananda because he is very much dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In Chaitanya Bhagavat Adi Lila, it is said that Tatodhika Chaitanyera Priya Nahiyar Niravadhi Sei Dehe Karena Vihar. There is no one more dear to Lord Chaitanya than Lord Nityananda. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya always enjoys pastimes with him. So here it is said in Chaitanya Bhagavata that there is no one more dear to Lord Chaitanya than Lord Nityananda. So if one really wish to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, one should make sure that he is also in the good books of Lord Nityananda also. It is said that Lord Chaitanya is non-different from Radha and Krishna. And unless and until one worship Lord Chaitanya, there is no question of getting Krishna Prema. But as we all know, our parampara is a parampara where one cannot directly approach the Supreme Lord. One has to approach through disciplic succession, through the progressive approach to our predecessor acharyas. And in that way, we understand that in order to approach Radha Krishna, we have to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And in order to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we have to get the mercy of Lord Nityananda. So that is how this progressive approach to Lord Krishna is mentioned in the scripture. So, we should, in order to get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, we have to take shelter of Lord Nityananda. Also, another place it is mentioned in Chaitanya Bhagavata, Tahara Charitra Yeba Jane Shune Gaye Shri Krishna Chaitanya Tare Parama Sahaya. It means Shri Krishna Chaitanya is most satisfied with one who chants or hear the characteristics of Lord Nityananda. So in order to please Lord Chaitanya, one must hear and chant the glories of Lord Nityananda, because that is most pleasing to Lord Chaitanya. If we want to please somebody, we should do what he expects from us. It is not that we will behave as we like and will think that, okay, this is also devotional service. No. Devotional service means pleasing spiritual master, pleasing the Supreme Lord. And pleasing the Supreme Lord means acting as per their expectation, not as per our likes and dislikes. So that is how bhakti is mentioned. So here, if you want to please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, one should be ready to please Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by acting so that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pleased. And it is mentioned how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pleased with a person. It is said that one who hears and chants the glories of Lord Nityananda, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pleased. So that's why today, being the wonderful occasion of the appearance day of Lord Nityananda, so taking that opportunity, we will try to discuss on the glories of Lord Nityananda. Discussing Lord Nityananda will naturally pleases Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So today we will read one wonderful prayer. Generally, when we approach the Supreme Lord, we take the darshan of the Supreme Lord, we should pray in front of them. Generally, the pranam mantras, generally we glorify them by speaking some wonderful shloka from Bhagavatam or some other place. So today, we will take one wonderful shloka written by Vrindavan Das Thakur in glorification of Lord Nityananda. Kindly repeat after me. And if possible, if we can remember this shloka, we can always recite this shloka in front of Lord Nityananda and can pray to him. Please recite. Nityananda avadhutendu vasudha pranavallabha janava jivitapati Krishna prema prada prabhu Padmavati sutta shriman Sachinandana purvaja Bhavonmatta jagatrata Rakta gaura kalebara. So this is a wonderful offering or prayer in the glorification of Lord Nityananda, written by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, who is not different from Srila Vyasadeva himself. So, after offering prayer to Lord Nityananda, let us try to discuss about Lord Nityananda. So, Chaitanya Bhagavat says that Sri Krishna Chaitanya is most satisfied with one who chants or hears the characteristics of Lord Nityananda. So it doesn't says that chanting about oneself or chanting about the intelligence or about the scholarship of the people or something. But it says that one who hear and chant the glories of Lord Nityananda, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is pleased. Why? Because Nityananda, Ananta and Lord Baldev are the same Lord. So, one may say that worshipping Lord Nityananda, is it the highest thing? Yes, it is the highest thing. Even from the material sense also, it is the highest thing. The reason is that generally people tend to worship certain demigods in this material world to gain certain material benefits. Generally, a simple person or a normal human being, he has certain idols in his life. And he try to emulate him, try to follow him in order to become like that person. Just like if somebody wants to become rich, he emulate those person who are richer. So everybody in this material world wants some opulence, some benefits, and that's why they follow those people who have those already. But we should be thinking that people in this world are behind lot of money and material opulences, but those who already have those things, what they are after, that is more important. Everybody is running after money, and those people who have money, one should be eager to know what they are eager after. That is the highest thing. So that is what we are supposed to look out. So in this material world, generally people worship Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati in order to gain some material benefits. But we have to think who even Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati worships. So that is what is very important. Everybody worship in this material world Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati, but if we know and if we come to understand who Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva worship, that will make us understand that who we should take shelter of. So, in Chaitanya Bhagavat it is said, Mahapraneta Haya Taire Mahesha Parvati Jivaya Spurayatare Shuddha Saraswati. In this say it is said, Lord Shiva and Parvati also become pleased with such a person, and the transcendental goddess of learning Saraswati manifest on his tongue. So one who worship Lord Nityananda, even Mother Parvati, Mother Saraswati, Lord Shiva is pleased with such person. If we want some material benefit, we generally worship the demigods to get their favor. And sometimes we see that it is very difficult to get their favor. But if one worship Lord Nityananda, even Lord Shiva, Parvati and Saraswati, all of them will be pleased by such person who worship Lord Nityananda. So it is not that Lord Nityananda should only be worshipped by the devotees. Even those who have material desires, even the materialistic person should worship Lord Nityananda if he wants some benefit from the demigods. So that is how Lord Nityananda is very important. Without their worship, without worshipping him, even the materialistic people cannot get the highest benefit. What to speak about spiritual benefit? So that is how one should understand about Lord Nityananda. So here it is said, hearing the Nityananda glories pleases Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, pleases Shiva and pleases Mother Saraswati. So after hearing all these things, and we know wonderful glories of Lord Nityananda, his mercy, in many of the classes we have heard the wonderful glories of Lord Nityananda, how he is so merciful towards Jagai and Madhai, how he was so merciful towards Kala Krishna Das. So many wonderful episodes we have studied from Chaitanya Charitamrita. But there is one wonderful episode in Chaitanya Charitamrita which says the danger of offending Lord Nityananda. Sometimes we see that because of not understanding the glories of Lord Nityananda, one tend to minimize or demean respect to him. Just like I understand that sometimes every Sunday or other some days when I stay here in the reception, some people come to visit the Lord, and sometimes I ask the people, do you know who are they? What are the name of the deities? So generally people know about Radha Krishna, and if somebody is little bit intelligent or much knowledgeable, then he can understand who is Jagannath, Baldev and Subhadra. But hardly few people know about Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. So, and even some of them may understand who is Chaitanya, but about Lord Nityananda, very few people knows. So, we understand Srila Prabhupada have, wherever he installed the deities, he mostly installed the deities of Lord Nityananda with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. Because he understand, without the mercy of Lord Nityananda, there is no possibility of this Kali Yuga people to gain the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. That's why Gaur Ritai is always established in the temple, established by Srila Prabhupada, and thereafter by his disciples also. But previous to Prabhupada, when we go into some Gaudiya Matha or some or the Matha established by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, there are not much, or you can say very few places you will find the deity of Lord Nityananda. Mostly you will find Radha Krishna along with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only, not Nityananda Prabhu. It is not that he is not important, certainly he is important. But establishing the deity of Lord Nityananda is one of the very major contribution by Srila Prabhupada to the Kali Yuga people. Because without his mercy, no one can advance in Krishna consciousness. So, worshipping Lord Nityananda is very, very essential. And deriding him, disrespecting him by not taking his shelter is an offense. Now, why this is so? Let me explain to you from one of the story of Meenaketan Ramadas that has been mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Have you heard the story of Meenaketan Ramadas from Chaitanya Charitamrita? Anyone? Okay, you know it. So let us try to analyze this story. Who was Meenaketan Ramadas? Meenaketan Ramadas is a wonderful disciple of Lord Nityananda. He is such an advanced devotee of Lord Nityananda that by just looking at him, one can easily feel what Krishna Prema is all about. Because whenever he used to speak, whenever he used to dance, whenever he used to chant, the people who are assembled in that assembly used to feel Krishna Prema flowing through their body. That's how Meenaketan Ramadas was such an advanced devotee. But even though he was such an advanced devotee, his appearance externally was not very appealing. People used to think about him as a common man from a low caste category. So not many people used to take him very seriously. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, who has written the scripture Chaitanya Charitamrita, he once invited Meenaketan Ramadas to his house for Sankirtan. And Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, along with many other devotees, they were doing Sankirtan. And this was happening in a temple hall. And in that temple hall, a pujari or a brahmana was worshipping Lord Radha Krishna. But he didn't recognize or not even looked with a proper respectful attitude toward the Meenaketan Ramdas. He was thinking, oh, I am worshipping Radha Krishna. Why should I respect this Meenaketan Ramdas who is behaving like a madman? So that Brahmana didn't give proper attention to him, neither even recognize him. He just thought him like a madman. And he continued his worship of Lord Radha Krishna. Seeing that person, seeing the Brahmana behave in this way, Meenaketan Ramdas, in one sense, he, you can say, corrected him by saying that, oh, see, here is one more Romaharshan Suta who don't understand the importance of Baladeva in the assembly. So after hearing this critical statement from Meenaketan Ramdas, many people in the assembly were surprised that he is comparing himself to Lord Baldev. So many people were confused about the statement. Because in the Srimad Bhagavatam there is a story of Romaharshan Suta. If you all know that in Naimisharanya there was an assembly of many rishis and sadhus. They were hearing Puranic literature from Romaharsha Suta. Romaharshana is a elevated disciple or prominent disciple of Srila Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva entrusted Puranas to be spread through Romaharshan Suta. So one can understand that Romaharshan Suta was a very, very important person, and he has a very big responsibility, and he was sitting on the Vyasasana speaking Krishna Katha, speaking Puranic Katha to the assembly of the sages in Naimisharanya. And in that assembly, Lord Baladev happened to enter. Seeing Lord Baladev enter in that assembly, everybody with respect got up and offered their respectful obeisances. But Romaharshan Suta, thinking, oh, I am sitting on Vyasasana, so there is no need for me to offer obeisances to Lord Baldev. So Lord Balram understood the ego, the pride in the heart of Romaharshan Suta, and he immediately chastised him by killing him. Lord Balram killed Romaharshan Suta, who was sitting on the Vyasasana while giving lecture on Puranas. All the people, all the sages in that assembly become very astonished by seeing that why Balram became so upset with such a very simple mistake. He just didn't rose from his Vyasasana to offer respect to Balram, and Balram became so upset that he killed this Brahmana, killed Romaharshan Suta. So Acharyas explain why this thing has happened. Srimad Bhagavatam, in that episode, it is mentioned that if a mistake is been done by an ordinary person, one will not take it very seriously, because nobody follows normal public. But those who are important person or in a higher status in the society, if they commit mistakes, if they behave in a wrong manner, naturally the common public may follow on its footsteps, and saying that, oh, such great person has done in the same way, so we are doing the same thing. So it is very important for the people who are on the higher status of life, especially those who are supposed to be exemplary in the society, they must follow certain etiquettes. And that's why Balram, understanding that Romaharshan Suta, he is supposed to set an example of how a speaker of Bhagavatam is supposed to be. But when he himself commits a mistake, that becomes a great offense. And that's why Balram killed Romaharshan Suta, showing that how grievous the offense is. And what was the offense? Not respecting the Supreme Lord. That was the offense. So similarly, when we see in this case also, Meenaketan Ramdas was a devotee of Lord. Lord and his devotees are non-different. Disrespecting devotee is same as disrespecting the Supreme Lord. Even though Romaharshan was sitting on the Vyasasana, even though he was doing a very important service, in one sense he was doing very important service to the Bhagavatam, but because he disrespected the Supreme Lord, he was punished. Similarly, here a Brahmana in this story of Meenaketan Ramdas, that Brahmana was worshipping the Supreme Lord, but he disrespected by not giving proper attention or respect to the devotee of the Lord. So one may do wonderful deity worship, one may do wonderful arati and so many things, but if one is neglectful in disrespect, one who is neglectful in respecting the devotees of the Supreme Lord, he is equally punishable. So that is what important. So Meenaketan Ramdas was in one sense disrespected by this Brahmana. So in that assembly, after hearing the criticism from Meenaketan Ramdas, there was one person. That person became very upset. He was brother of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He was very much upset. The brother of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was very upset that how could Meenaketan Ramdas can speak such a critical words to such a great Brahmana like him. How can he say such a critical words to a Brahmana who is worshipping the Supreme Lord? What kind of mistake he has done? He has not done anything, but still he criticized him. So in that way, brother of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami become very offensive in one sense toward this Meenaketan Ramdas. The reason was that he didn't consider the disciples of Nityananda Prabhu very highly, because he didn't even consider Lord Nityananda to be equally respectful like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. For in his heart, he used to worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but in one sense he rejected the prominence of Nityananda Prabhu. He used to think that Nityananda Prabhu is okay, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should be worshipped. He was thinking that there is no need to worship Lord Nityananda if I am worshipping Lord Chaitanya. That was the attitude of this brother of Chaitanya of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So, what was the thing here? What thing we can learn from this situation? That one may think that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is important, so why there is a need to worship Lord Nityananda? No, one should worship Lord Nityananda first. Without his mercy, it is not possible to gain the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. So if one disrespect Lord Nityananda, how is it possible that one will get any favor from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? And that is what has happened. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami understood his brother's thoughts and he corrected him, he criticized him, he shouted and scolded him that how you can say like that Lord Nityananda is not important and only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sufficient to be worshipped. No, it is very wrong. One should take shelter of Lord Nityananda. Both are equally important. That is what one has to understand. Srila Prabhupada also says in one of the purport of Chaitanya Charitamrita, It is said, Srila Prabhupada in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela chapter 7 text 165, in that purport it is said that the author of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, left his home because of his brothers stressing the importance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu over that of Nityananda Prabhu. Actually, one should offer respect to the Panchatattva without such foolish discrimination, not considering Nityananda Prabhu to be greater, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be greater, or Advaita Prabhu to be greater. The respect should be offered equally. So that is how it is mentioned. Srila Prabhupada says, one should not think, oh, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is greater, oh, Nityananda Prabhu is greater, or Advaita Acharya is greater. No, everybody should be equally worshipped. One should not think that one is greater and one is smaller. Not like that. Not in terms of disrespecting them, thinking that one is better than the other. If I worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I don't need to worship Lord Nityananda. Or if I worship Gaur Nitai, then there is no need for me to worship Advaita Acharya. Sometimes devotee commit this offense also, unknowingly of course, that on this last Sunday, there was appearance day of Lord Advaita Acharya. And I was asking to one of the devotee that, are you coming for Advaita Acharya's appearance day celebration? He said, oh Prabhu, already we have more festivals. Nityananda Trayodashi is coming, so I will come on that day. Advaita Acharya is not very important. So I was just thinking that why this thing is there? Why such kind of attitude is there? It is not the mistake of them also. I realized after some time that actually these people don't know actually who Advaita Acharya is all about, who Advaita Acharya is, what is the glories of Advaita Acharya, what is the glories of Srivas Thakur, what is the glories of our Gadadhar Pandit and everyone, all the Panchatattva. Many people doesn't know even who the Panchatattva are and what is their glories. Many people don't know. And because not knowing the glories, because of not hearing about them, people generally don't take them very seriously, doesn't understand why we have to worship them equally. So it is not the mistake of the people, it is because they are not being discussed much. And the more we discuss about these glorious personalities, the more people will come to know, and then they will be able to understand their glories. So yes, it is very important for all of us to understand the glories of the Panchatattva. Each personalities in the Panchatattva are equally important. Not that only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is important, it is not like that. One should not think like that. Srila Prabhupada is saying that such foolish discrimination should not be there. Not considering Nityananda Prabhu greater, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu greater, or Advaita Acharya to be greater. Such foolish discrimination should not be there, Prabhupada is saying. So, one has to take this thing very seriously. So, if we commit such kind of offenses towards these personalities, then it is just a mere question of time that we may fall down. So in the case of Meenaketan Ramdas story also, the brother of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, we see that it is not that he fall down after some time. No, there was an immediate fall. It is said here, the Chaitanya Charitamrita completely rejects this mentality. Ramdas became deeply disturbed and said in essence, these two brothers are one body. If you believe in Chaitanya but not in Nityananda, you will fall down. So Ramdas warned this brother of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So Prabhupada says, accepting Chaitanya and rejecting Nityananda is like accepting only half-hand logic. One who is, as you all know, half-hand logic. means wanting only eggs without feeding the hen. So it is not possible. If you give up Lord Nityananda and say that I will only worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then certainly you will not gain anything. So immediately fall down, not after death. Here we see this brother of Meenaketan Ramdas, brother of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, immediately fall down from his position and started following the materialistic way of life. So what lesson we can learn from this? Nityananda and Chaitanya are inseparable. Partial faith is no faith at all. And disrespect to Nityananda lead to spiritual collapse. That is what we have to understand. So here, there are many things which we can also learn that there are two people who committed an offenses here. One, that Brahmana, and the other, the brother of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. What was the mistake of Brahmana who was worshipping the deity? He gave more prominence to deity worship than respecting the devotee of Lord Nityananda. That was his mistake. He considered that Lord is more important, devotee is less important. So similarly, we should be careful about this. Srila Prabhupada also says then that if a pujari is worshipping the deities in the arati, and if he sees a visitor, a guest visiting the temple, and there is nobody to welcome that person, a pujari is supposed to stop the worship and look after the guest and welcome him appropriately. And then, after making him comfortable, he can again go back in the deity room and start worshipping the Supreme Lord. That much importance is given to receiving the guest or the devotee of the Lord. So that way we can learn from this situation. Also, there was one more mistake by the Brahmana. Why he was disrespectful towards Meenaketan Ramdas? Because he was thinking himself to be socially superior than Meenaketan Ramdas. Socially superior means he was thinking, I am a Brahmana, he is an ordinary low class person. He must be behaving in a madman kind of way, chanting the glories of Hare Krishna and everything, showing the symptom of ecstasy. This is just a facade. I am a Brahmana. I am the worshipper of Radha Krishna. So for me, not giving respect to such person doesn't matter actually. So that was again under the mentality, considering himself to be socially superior. I am socially superior. I am a Brahmana. He is an ordinary man. So that was the thing. So Vaishnava Aprad at the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda is the cause of his fall down. Even though directly he didn't disrespect Lord Nityananda, but indirectly through his devotees he disrespected Lord Nityananda. By disrespecting the devotees of Lord Nityananda is also a disrespect to Lord Nityananda. And disrespect to Lord Nityananda means disrespecting Lord Chaitanya. And whoever disrespects Lord Chaitanya, there is no question of Krishna Prema in his life. So, it was not the hatred on the part of the Brahmana toward this devotee, Meenaketan Ramdas. It is not the hatred actually. It was indifference. Sometimes as a devotee, we also become indifferent to each other. He's not, what to say, like, he's another devotee, or he's one more person like that. So being indifferent or showing indifference to others is also one of the aspects. So that's why when we see a devotee, one should not be indifferent to him. Indifference really actually means not considering him to be important. That is the meaning of becoming or showing indifference to a person. He is not very important for me. And when somebody is not important for me, we generally don't give any attention, or we don't give even respect also. So that is one of the offenses towards a Vaishnava. That is also one of the Vaishnava aparadha. When we see a Vaishnava, we should be happy to see him. We should be grateful that we are able to see the Vaishnavas of the Lord. One should be elated when they see the Vaishnava, not that by saying, "Oh, he again came in front of me, not my whole day will go bad." If that is the way of attitude we are having, then certainly that is again a Vaishnava aparadha. So, Vaishnavas, when we see a Vaishnava, one should be very jolly, we should be very happy, we should be thankful to Krishna for giving us the association of such a wonderful Vaishnava. So, what are the things that was the mistake by a Brahmana? Again, I will repeat. It was an indifference toward the Meenaketan Ramdas. Second is a lack of reverence. There was no reverence, in the sense he is not respectful. And third, failure to honor extraordinary devotion. Not understanding the devotion of that person, that Brahmana just thought about his social position and disrespected him. So that is what we have to be very careful. So, but when these things are there, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, not thinking his brother, oh, he is my brother, so he must be right. No, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami become very upset by such behavior by his brother, and he chastised him. He even confronted him that how he can say that Nityananda Prabhu is not important. And on that night, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was very upset, and he went to sleep after a lot of struggle. And in the dream, Lord Nityananda Prabhu came and told him that I am very pleased with you. Now one can immediately think, what did Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami did? He didn't, in one sense, did anything important, but just by chastising his brother for not respecting Nityananda's devotees, considering Nityananda to be less important than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this theological issue was understood by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and because of which Nityananda Prabhu became very pleased with him. In his dream, Nityananda Prabhu came and blessed him by saying that immediately go to Vrindavan and all your desires will be fulfilled. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, next day, as soon as he got up, he got ready and left for Vrindavan. And there he met Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, where in their association, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was blessed with the mercy of Madan Mohan Dev. And Madan Mohan Dev later blessed Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami by providing the ability to write Chaitanya Charitamrita. That's how we see, just by taking side of Nityananda Prabhu, a personality like Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami received so much blessings, and he becomes eternally famous as an author and writer of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Otherwise, who would have known who was Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami? Nobody. So that is how we have to understand that Nityananda Prabhu, if he is pleased with someone, he becomes eternally glorified. So one should not take Nityananda Prabhu lightly. One should be very eager to worship Lord Nityananda. One should be very eager to pray in front of Lord Nityananda. Because without his mercy, it is not possible to gain the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and gain the mercy of Radha Krishna also. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I hope there are no questions. I hope there are only comments. Okay, no comments. Oh, yes, Mataji. Of course, worshipping the deities doesn't mean that we disrespect the devotees. Srila Prabhupada emphasized that even the guest who are not devotee, if he is coming into the temple hall, he is equally important. And that's why we understand that one should, if nobody is there in the temple hall, only the pujari who is doing worship, he is supposed to come down from the altar and make that guest comfortable. So that much importance is given. What to speak about to the so much importance given to the guest, then what to speak about the devotees? If the guests are given so much importance, then one should be very careful about the devotees also. Now, so that's how we have to learn. Now the problem is that, as you have said, that this is not seen happening. The reason is that it is not the mistake of the devotees. The reason is that I feel that this theology is not very much stressed. The more we speak on this, the more people will understand. Just like when we want to stress certain important aspect to the children, we generally repeat the same sentence again and again so that the children can understand, oh, it is important. That's why it has been stressed and repeated so many times. So similarly, even in the devotee circle, the more we give stress to the Vaishnava relationship, the more people will be able to understand its importance. Till that time, there will be difficulty, and it may not be the mistake, it may be an ignorant mistake from the part of the people, because they really don't know that it is so important. So the more and more we explain to this to the people, the more they will able to understand it. So one should not think that devotees are not behaving in this way, they are not following certain etiquettes or principle. Most of the times it is just an ignorance. They don't know that it is so important. So that's why it is the duty of the senior devotees that they should repeat and emphasize the importance of such respectful behavior. Only then the people will be able to know. Otherwise, they are just doing it ignorantly. I hope that makes sense. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. It's late. Thank you very much. Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Happy